Hey everyone, Jamie Pate here. Welcome to this video. And you asked for it and you got it. Today, I'm going to take the time to do the 3-month walkthrough of the first part of this year's memory planner. Now, one small, real short caveat. This week is National Scrapbook Week. And I really wanted to have a video today that was scrapbooking. But here's the thing I am continuing to realize. I believe there's a lot of now planners who used to be very big into scrapbooking and maybe not so much anymore. Maybe they kind of walked away from it for a little while. And then this whole memory planner craze came up and this is their thing. This is now replacing a lot of scrapbooking in a traditional sense because face it, there's all kinds of things that fall under what we call scrapbooking, right? Everything from traveler's notebooks, pocket page, 12 by 12 traditional scrapbook pages, storyline chapters inserts, which are 7.5 by 9.5 pages, 6 by 8 albums, 9 by 12 albums, right? There is no traditional scrapbooking. Any kind of storytelling is indeed what we can call scrapbooking. It is something we can open up at another time and remember a point in time by way of photos plus words, and it's a beautiful thing. Okay, that's my caveat. Let's jump into 3 months. Okay, you can see here that I started this month with the blush striped planner. There's just enough room in here for 3 months. So I have January, February, March, and I identified it with these puffy stickers. I would really love to talk to you about how much I love these puffy stickers, but I won't. Anyway, I also added the 22 on here, and these live inside my storyline chapters albums, and I will have a whole year in one album. Okay, to start this out, I'm jumping ahead. I went ahead and did an intro page back in January, probably even December when I did it. I made a mistake on the main page, and so then I covered it with pattern paper. Heidi Swapp stamps are introducing 2022. Oh, you can see there's my mistake right there. This I had used, and don't do this. I used archival ink on these pages. The memory planner pages do not like the archival ink. They will bleed. I have not found the distress oxides, however, to bleed. And so I'm glad I had that there so you can see that it just bled right through, and that's never going to work. So stick with the oxides. I have a video in the HeidiSwappShop.com Stop the Blur class. I believe it's the April month class. And in there, I unpack how it is that I go about these monthly page spreads. These can kind of be challenging in that people don't always know what to put on here. For me, these are highlight pages and fun pages. And I try to highlight with stamps the dates that had something meaningful happening to them. The rest I just fill in with fun stuff. So I've tried to take the pressure off of it and just had fun with those pages. I like to start off the first year spread with more of a scrapbook kind of vibe, and that's exactly what happened here. And then here we go. We're diving into a lot of the same things that you have continued to see every month, and that is a color scheme based mostly on the color band. That is a lot of Stop the Blur kits finding their way onto the pages. There's not necessarily a lot of photos to my pages, but there is definitely documenting not just anything. Everything from how long my day was right here to an update on my mom and her condition, and bullet point to what happened in a day, to a quote, to just a brief little synopsis of what happened on Sunday. And that is what you see repeated time and again. A lot of stamp work, because it's a great place for our stamps to find homes. A lot of reminders, personal reminders. You can do hard things, and I added a little stamp to it. These are great fillers. A lot of times I hear, and you've heard me say it before, not a lot of clarity on what to put on a memory planner page. And you know you want to fill it up. Use filler pages. Use filler cards like this. Use an envelope. Use a larger picture. My pictures are 2 2 inches wide. And when I do a 2-inch wide picture, it automatically crops down to 2.67 long. So that fills up a decent space. Then taking advantage of the Stop the Blur videos that Heidi Swapp puts out and putting them to work on my pages as well. A lot of big stamps. These big alphas are great for these pages as well. And again, I love it when the colors come together. And so this is a good example of not necessarily a monochromatic page, but obviously a clear color band choice here, and then a highlighted kind of color that is, I believe, marigold, dried marigold is what this is in the Distress Oxide line. And again and again and again, there is going to be journaling and hidden journaling throughout here. It's one of my favorite aspects of a memory planner is just how many spaces can we create to add our journaling in. Now this is a quote card, again some stamping on it, and then made it a flap to hide additional journaling. This is a great example of the color band and just real subtle touches back into that color. Not quite as obvious as this one, but it works too. What works really well on these pages as well is just sticking with black. If you're not really sure and this is something you want to do, stick with the black on your pages. I mean, that's a lot of black right there, right? And that's from the Stop the Blur kit, and this is part of the printable. Great filler as well. More hidden journaling, of course. And then I just got lucky there with that sticker that happened to be the same color as my week. This is a great place too. I've been trying to get better at this, and you've probably heard me say this before, where taking the Stamp Society stamps or any of the new first of the month release stamps, making tags with them and implementing them onto these pages. Now this is a great example where I've taken the Stop the Blur kit and I've really done a big picture with it. What do I mean by that? I've used a lot of the elements and it almost feels more scrapbook than planner. And then again, is there really even any difference? I don't know if there really totally is, but this is a great example where it's just obvious. Oh, she used her scrapbook skills there. And this is a great example here on this side where there's just a lot of journaling taking place on the pages. And I'm so here for that. Here's another example of I had this piece already pre-made. It's more than likely the Victorian velvet just through a stencil, and then I just added some of the Stop the Blur kit pieces to it, and it just became a great element on the page. And I love these larger elements. This is a great example too of taking a new Tim Holtz die at the time, Focus on the Good. It's a larger element and takes up beautiful space, and just for me, these larger elements just give such great cohesion to a page. They bring the whole page together. And I did it again here where I made this pocket, and it's filled with tags that are also filled with photos and filled with journaling. But again, there is a really big story going on here. And so I'm not going to say, well, big stories call for big placement and big embellishing. The small stories can too. It's just what happened to work here. And I did the same thing here. I'd made this sample of this vellum envelope, and then it became a big part of this page, wherein it holds also a story that's going on. I mean, there's a lot of story going on this week for sure. And again, I did another element, really isolating a day and scrapbooking it out and using the washi tape to give it some great boundary as well. And another element that I'm going to remind you that I use quite a bit is washi on one side, washi on the next side. I like the elements to play with each other. Me personally, I didn't do as great a job on here as I'd like to, because I have the alphas from the Stop the Blur kit from this month, but I didn't play them out over here. And I have the Blue Skies stamp work over here, but I didn't play it out over here. So that's something I don't normally do. I usually try to balance the elements on both sides of the page. Just for me, it's just a whole aesthetic thing. These pages also are great for Heidi Swapp's dies. Nice big word. brings you right into that story. Okay, what's the adventure here? Now, this to me is like what your classic commonplace kind of book is, where you just have a lot of elements, a lot of layering over things, and a lot of story going on. And I loved putting this page together. One of the things I had a lot of fun with, and I have seen you guys take die cuts and add them to your pages as well. I'm super inspired and I can't wait to do that. But here on this page, this is from the April printable, and I went ahead and cut it out, fussy cut it, and here it is, playing against each other on 2 pages. I just love the softness of those flowers, especially speaking into this story right now. And there is a lot of story going on this page. So this is one of those pages that reminds me why so many previous scrapbookers are now turning to the planner page to tell their story. And there's no reason, and I've seen it out there in on pages out there in a very inspiring way where, I just see, okay, just make it a scrapbook page. Just make your planner book your scrapbook page. That works beautifully too. If you recall when I did this, I still haven't added anything there. We're just going to keep it there. We're just going to keep it there blank. Maybe someday I'll come back and read this and say, oh yeah, by the way, this is what I was really thinking. No, we'll see how that goes. This is also a great example of the color inspiring the page and things staying pretty subtle too. And I just love it when it turns out like that. I loved using these big alpha stamps on here. I love how that brings you right into the story. It also makes for great title work. We use titles in scrapbook pages all the time, right? There's no reason why you can't use a big title work also on your planner page. And that is just one example out of so many that we could be doing. So I never got to finish out the rest of March. I need to do that. I have a few more days here. You can see how I have given it a marker with a post-it note and already started what will be April here. But April's actually going to be living in another planner because my 3 months here are full up. And I hope that this has inspired you in some way to catch up on your memory planner. The first 3 months of the year are in the books, right? We are moving on now to May. And so let me know if there's any questions that you have here that maybe I didn't cover. I'm happy to answer them. Thank you so much for weighing in on wanting this 3-month look. I hope that it was everything you needed. And in the meantime, I will see you in the next video.